Okay, once again, no, our topic is common and specific taxing powers of local government units. So, what are the legal basis, no, for the LGU's taxation power? So, a sort of review lang, no, sa previous natin na discussion. So, it comes from the 1987 Constitution, Article 10, Section 5, no? And we also have provisions from the Republic Act number 7160 or the Local Government Code of 1991, particularly under Section 129, which provides for the power to create sources of revenue. You know already, the fundamental principles of local taxation. We say that in order for the local taxes to be valid, it must be uniform, equitable, for public purpose, non-confiscatory, and progressive. Common taxing authority, no? Meaning, these taxes apply to all LGUs, no? Be it provinces, cities, municipalities, and barangays. So, meron silang common taxing authority to levy taxes, fees and charges, create revenue sources through ordinances, and exercise power within territorial jurisdiction. Ang limitation natin for LGUs is that dapat yung tax na nililevy natin, hindi siya under sa, let's say for example, province. Mag-impose ng tax yung province, dapat yung tax na yan, hindi siya under sa cities, hindi siya under sa municipalities or barangays. So yun lang ang ating limitation. Pero, with respect to the taxing power ng LGU, wala talaga siyang, hindi siya limited to to those enumerated no under the local government code. Malaman natin later what are those different taxes no under provinces, cities, municipalities, and barangays. Pero hindi limited doon sa list na yon yung talagang allowed sa kanila. They can levy taxes, fees, and charges that are not provided under the local government code for as long as hindi siya among those taxes that are not allowed to be levied. So, nalaman nyo na yon in our previous discussion, no? In the video I assigned to you. Ano yung mga taxes na hindi pwedeng i-levy ng mga LGUs? And also, ano yung mga taxes that are levied already under the jurisdiction of cities, municipalities, and barangays. So, yan siya. And when you say levying, it must be through an ordinance. Hindi pwedeng hindi ordinance. And the power of taxation can be exercised only within the territorial jurisdiction of each LGU. So, hindi pwedeng mag-extend to other LGUs. Next. Aside from those taxes, so pwedeng mag-impose yung LGUs ng mga reasonable fees and charges no for services rendered no. For example, garbage collection fees, health services. Kunyari may hospital yung munisipyo, may hospital yung or may center yung city or yung province, 'di ba? Yung ating province meron tayong hospital. Yung ating munisipyo, meron tayong center, health center, and they collect no fees for health services also, no? So, pwede yun siya. So, pwede lahat ng LGUs mag-collect with respect to fees and charges for services rendered. And also public utility charges under Section 154, no? Local government units may fix the rates for the operation of public utilities owned, operated, and maintained by them. This covers water systems, public markets, and slaughter houses. So, lahat ng LGUs pwedeng mag-impose ng rates or fees and charges regarding this, no? Now, let's talk about provinces. So, coverage natin sections 134 to 141 of the Local Government Code. So, yung naka-enumerate yan yung taxes that the province may impose Ang sabi natin may. So, ibig sabihin, pwede din hindi niya i-impose. And hindi po self-executing itong mga provisions, no? Ibig sabihin, kung nakalagay dyan transfer tax, tapos walang equivalent ordinance yung province, hindi sila makakakolekta. So, kailangan magawa talaga ng ordinance for the imposition. Kasi ang sabi ng ating local government code, may lang, permissive siya. So, depende sa LGU kung mag-impose sila o hindi. So, first on the list is tax on transfer of real property ownership. Anong example nito? Yung mga sale, donation, estate. So, aside from taxes paid no in the Bureau of Internal Revenue, pagdating natin sa LGU para matransfer yung tax declaration, yung name sa tax declaration, nagbabayad din tayo ng transfer tax. So, yan siya, no? Allowed yung ating province. And this transfer tax, I believe, ano ito siya, parang hati-hati ito sa munisipyo or city kung saan located yung property. Now, business tax on printing and publication only. Okay, take note. Business tax on printing and publication. Franchise tax, uh, ito yung mga corporations or entities that are granted franchise by the Congress. So the LGU can impose a franchise tax on them. Quarry tax, then professional tax, amusement tax, and annual fixed tax for every delivery truck or van for of manufacturers or producers, wholesalers of dealers or retailers in certain products. So, yung annual fixed tax, malaman nyo, every January yan ginagawa ng mga LGUs. Ano yan sila, ah, ano sila, magbutang sila ng parang checkpoints no in strategic places. Then na-added to ang treasurer, provincial treasurer or collector sa treasury office na yung mga police, etc. Harangan nila ng mga truck na muagi kay maningil sila og annual fixed tax no every January na siya. Okay? Now, jurisprudence, press. So, nakalagay doon, business tax on printing and publication, di ba? So, as a general proposition, the press is not exempt from the taxing power of the state, and that what the constitutional guarantee of free press prohibits are the laws which single out or target a group belonging to the press for special treatment or in any way discriminate against the press on the basis of the content of the publication. So, ah kasali ito sa ating pre-test, di ba? So, hindi exempted yung press, no, with respect to business tax. So, liable pa rin sila. What is not allowed is if i-single out sila or i-discriminate sila na there are many press pero selected lang ang na-chargean og tax. So, that is not allowed. Pero, if all of them are charged or imposed with taxes or business tax, then allowed yun siya under the law. Now, franchise tax. Under sections 137 and 193, franchise taxes may be imposed by provinces despite any exemption enjoyed under special laws. So, common ito na issue, no? Yung may mga corporations or government corporations or even private corporations, no, that are granted with franchise. Tapos, prior to the passage of the local government code, they are enjoying exemption, no, exemption from taxes. So upon the passage, no, of the local government code, there is a provision, ayan, no, section 137, no, may provision yung LGC natin withdrawing the tax exemptions or incentives previously granted, no, to corporations. So, upon the passage of the local government code, yung mga exemptions prior to that passage given to corporations, ma-remove yun siya with respect to real property tax. Okay? No, no, sorry. With respect to the taxes imposed by the local government units. Okay? So, LGU taxes lang ang pinag-uusapan natin dito ha. So, maraming cases na nangyari na nagreklamo sila bakit bakit sila inimposan ng LGU, no, ng franchise tax, na meron silang parang provision na like in lieu of all taxes, ganun. So, parang dapat daw, hindi na daw sila magbayad ng local taxes because of that exemption provision, no, na in lieu of all taxes. Pero, the argument of the LGUs was uh, na-withdraw na daw yung kanilang exemption upon the passage of the local government code. So, basahin nyo lang itong PLDT versus City of Davao. Actually, libog kani siya nga case, no? Kumbaga, ang case manggod ani sa PLDT is that um, their franchise was granted prior sa LGC. But here comes like Globe or Smart Communications. They were granted franchise after the passage of the LGC. And in their charter, nakalagay doon na they are exempted, no? Parang they are paying franchise tax to the national government in lieu of all taxes. And then meron ding provision na equality. Sabi doon na mga ano daw favors or mga benefits or exemptions daw that are granted to corporations during that time will apply daw to corporations granted with franchise prior to the passage of the local government code. Puraglibog, no? Pero mo na PLDT parang they are contending na that particular provision on equality provision should apply to them because sila yung nag-grant yung franchise nila prior to the local government code. Parang it's as if they are saying na unfair naman kasi just because our franchise was granted prior to the local government code, we cannot avail of the same privilege na binigay sa Globe tsaka sa Smart. However, the Supreme Court held na hindi clear yung provision sa equality provision, hindi siya clear na kasali yung tax exemption. So, hindi siya clear. So, the Supreme Court did not give credence no to the argument of the PLDT kasi hindi clear, hindi unequivocal yung statement or yung provision ng charters ng Globe tsaka Smart. And therefore, since there is doubt no in the provision, so kaya the Supreme Court resolved it in favor of the municipal corporation or in favor of the local government unit. So the Supreme Court allowed the imposition of franchise tax on PLDT. So take note of the specific provisions, no? Franchise tax, ayan. So 50% of 1% of the gross annual receipts, yung kanilang pwedeng makolekta. Okay? But there are exemptions ha. Meaning not all corporations no are na-withdraw yung kanilang tax exemption privileges because we have here exemptions to local water districts, cooperatives, non-stock and non-profit hospitals and educational institutions. So sila meron pa rin na-retain yung kanilang tax exemption privileges despite the effectivity of the local government code. Tax on quarry resources. So alam niyo naman to, kung may quarry ka, so nagsisingil yung ating province ng tax, no? On the quarry, di ba? Kasi sa province yung registration ng, if you want to be a quarry operator, so kuha ka ng quarry permit, sa province kasi yan. So sila yung may power to impose taxes. Take note, a province has no power to impose tax on quarry resources extracted from private land. Okay? Now, for professional tax, okay, kasali ito sa ating pretest, no? The province may levy an annual professional tax on each person engaged in the exercise or practice of his profession, requiring government examination at such amount and reasonable classification as the sangguniang panlalawigan may determine, but shall in no case exceed 300 pesos. Pero in actual, parang sobra ng 300 ah. Every person legally authorized to practice his profession shall pay the professional tax to the province where he practices his profession or where he maintains his profession, principal office in case he practices his profession in several places. Parang tongue twister lang, no? So, okay. So, kung saan ka daw nag-practice ng profession, saan kang province, pwede ka doon mag-pay ng iyong professional tax. Okay? Or if you have several branches or satellite offices, so pwede you choose no the province where you maintain your principal office. Provided, however, that such person who has paid the corresponding professional tax shall be entitled to practice his profession in any part of the Philippines without being subjected to any other national or local tax, license, or fee for the practice of such profession. So, pag nakakuha ka na ngayon ng professional tax in one province or city, for example, then hindi ka na dapat is subject to another professional tax sa other city, even if you are maintaining several branches, no? Kahit, let's say, for example, you have an office, a law office here in Tagum, and then another law office in Davao de Oro, then another in Davao City. Tapos dito ka nagkuha ng professional tax sa Tagum City for your professional tax, di ba? So, yung professional tax na yan, you can use that, no? Wherever in the Philippines. So, kaisa lang tamukuha o professional tax. Any individual or corporation employing a person subject to professional tax shall require payment by that person of the tax on his profession before employment and annually thereafter. So, annually tayo nagbabayad ng professional tax on or before 31st day of January. Okay, tax on amusement places. So what is the term amusement places? This includes theaters, cinemas, concert halls, circuses, and other places of amusement where one seeks admission to entertain oneself by seeing or viewing the show or performance. So, money siya, no? So, ang mga example sa places no, na amusement places where you can impose amusement tax. So, there was one instance no, in my experience na there was an issue on whether or not the province should collect amusement tax. No? Ang ginawa is, ano siya, ganing carnival. 'Di ba in a carnival, ano siya, may admission yun siya. Bayad ka ng entrance, then magsakay ka doon sa kanilang Ferris wheel ba ngayon, or roller coaster, whatever, no? In a carnival, or carnival ba yun? Basta ganon. So, my opinion was that hindi, hindi siya pwede, no? Hindi siya pwede. Hindi siya proper to impose amusement tax. Kasi as you can see no in the definition of amusement places, it refers to theaters, cinema. So kanang mga sa SM cinema kana siya. That is subject of amusement tax. Concert halls, circuses, dapat merong nagpe-perform. May show, concert, no? Sa SB19. Ano pa? Coachella. That is a proper subject no of amusement tax because there is a show or a performance. So if walang show or walang performance ikaw na gina-view or gina-anticipate, then hindi siya ma-consider as amusement place, okay? So this means that the amusement place to be subject to the amusement tax of 30% needs only to be a place where one seeks admission to entertain himself by seeing or viewing the show or performance. So when you go to like carnivals having mga ano dyan, like Ferris wheel or roller coaster, or whatever na mga sakyanan, wala may performance ana kay ikaw man ang nagasakay. So therefore, dili siya, in my opinion, it is not subject to amusement tax. Now, Section 13 of the Local Tax Code mentions other places of amusement. So professional basketball games are definitely not within its scope. The principle of a jusdem generis means that the general words are to be held as applying only to persons or things of the same kind or class as those specifically mentioned. So yung other places of amusement, you should interpret that together with the enumeration before it, the words before it. So limited siya, 'di ba? Based on jusdem generis, you should interpret it if the statement has parang enumeration, 'di ba? List of things or meron siyang class and then followed by a generic statement like others or similar places, similar things, mga ganyan, and the like. Dapat daw you should interpret that together with the words prior, no, to that generic term. So in this case, so hindi pwedeng magsabi ka lang na kahit na ano lang na kay because you feel that that is a place of amusement, no? So therefore, since sa professional basketball game wala namang show or performance dyan, no? Hindi siya show, siya performance. So ano siya, game siya. So hindi siya part ng term na other places of amusement. Okay? Now, let's go to municipalities. So, ano yung mga taxes? Business taxes, manufacturers, wholesalers, retailers, so pwedeng mag-tax. Service fees, no? Example, business tax on tourism establishments. Retail and wholesale taxes, okay? Cities, the city may levy taxes, fees, and charges with the province or municipality, which the province or municipality may impose. So, cities, no, have broader taxing power. So, siya yung pinaka vast yung kanyang power to tax. Kaya mayayaman yung ating mga cities. Pag city ka talaga, mayaman talaga yan. Kasi lahat ng taxes na ma-impose ng province, pati ng municipality, pwede niyang i-impose. So, i-add nyo lang yun lahat. And mas higher yung kanyang rate, no? Up to 50%, no? Except for professional and amusement taxes. Okay? Now, let's talk about community tax. So, under Section 162, a community tax certificate shall be issued to every person or corporation upon payment of the community tax. So, yan, no? Kasali yan sa ating pre-test. So, cities or municipalities may levy a community tax in accordance with the provisions of this article. So, sino yung mga individuals that are liable to pay community tax? So, number one, dapat you are a resident of the Philippines. No? Kaya nga community tax siya kasi that's a parang residence tax yan siya eh. So, dapat you are a resident of the Philippines and you are at least 18 years of age, then regularly employed on a wage or salary basis for at least 30 consecutive working days during any calendar year, or who is engaged in business or occupation, or who owns real property with an aggregate assessed value of 1,000 or more, or who is required by law to file an income tax return. Then where you should pay? You should pay it in the barangay or in the city or municipality of your residence, no? So bakit yung barangay nagakolekta sila? Tapos ang sabi natin city or municipality lang. Delegated kasi yan. Yung resibo na ginagamit nila is from the city din naman. Okay? So, parang i-delegate nila sa barangay. And may share din yung barangay dyan. When due, kailan siya nagjo-due? First day of January and payable not later than the last day of February of each year. Now, for juridical persons, no, they are liable to pay an annual community tax of 500 pesos and annual additional tax not exceeding 10,000 pesos. Sino yung exempted from community tax? We have diplomatic and consular representatives and transient visitors when their stay in the Philippines does not exceed 3 months. For barangays naman, taxes on stores or retailers with gross sales not exceeding 50,000 for cities or 30,000 for municipalities. Kaya if the gross sales nila exceeds na that threshold, then doon na sa city or municipality magbayad. Actually, issue din ito, no? Last election, merong merong parang nag ano yan, kampanya, no? Ang isa sa iyang kampanya is ihatag na daw niya ang power to tax daw on stores and retailers to the barangays. Pero hindi siya pwede na lahat, no? Kasi merong misconception kasi you cannot do something that is contrary to law. Therefore, hindi siya pwede gawing hindi siya pwede gawing parang platform mo kasi it is prescribed by law. So, hindi siya pwede. So, meron talagang threshold na ifa-follow. Barangays can impose small business tax. So, yan yung basta not exceeding 50,000 for cities and 30,000 for municipalities. Barangay clearance fees. So, sa barangay tayo kumukuha niyan. Service charges. Okay? Like for example, you use the gym. Pag magamit ka ng facility ng barangay, pwedeng mag-impose yung barangay ng fees and charges for that, no? For the use of the gym, for the use of, let's say for example, merong ganing dryer yung barangay, so pwedeng mag-impose yung barangay, provided meron silang ordinance, okay? Now, accrual and payment of tax, okay, first day of the calendar year, except new tax ordinance no, at the beginning of the next ensuing quarter. Kunyari, sa kalagitnaan ng calendar year, saka pa na-approve yung ordinance. So in the next quarter na siya applicable. So we use calendar year no, for local taxes, fees, and charges, except when otherwise provided no, under the ordinance. The time for payment may be extended by the local sanggunian concerned without surcharges and penalties, but only for a period not exceeding 6 months. Now, status of taxes. Ayan, paano kung marami kang branches or outlets? How do you pay your taxes? So, saan ba magjuju yung taxes natin if marami yung ating branches no, or offices or plants? So, under Section 143, manufacturers, assemblers, repackers, brewers, distillers, etc. Lahat ng yan, ayoko nang basahin. Maintaining or operating branch or sales outlet, branch or sales outlet elsewhere shall record the sale in the branch or sales outlet making the sale or transaction. So, kunyari, maraming tatlo yung branches mo. So, i-record mo daw yung sale daw kung saan nangyari yung transaction. Kung sa branch 1, edi doon i-record. Kung branch 2, doon i-record. And the tax thereon shall accrue and shall be paid to the municipality where such branch or sales outlet is located. Okay? In cases where there is no branch or sales outlet in the city or municipality where the sale or transaction is made. Kunyari, meron kang principal office sa Tagum City, pero yung transaction nangyari sa Davao City. Saan mo ba i-record yung sale mo? Okay? Malamang doon sa principal office, no? Even if the transaction was made in Davao City. And that the taxes no due thereon will be paid to the city or municipality kung saan yung principal office. Okay? The following sales allocation shall apply to manufacturers, assemblers, contractors, producers, and exporters with factories, project offices, plants, plantation in the pursuit of their business. 30% of all sales recorded in the principal office shall be taxable by the city or municipality where the principal office is located. And 70% of all sales recorded in the principal shall be taxable by the city or municipality where the factory, project, plant, or office is located. So kung yung business is meron silang principal office tapos meron silang factory in a separate city or municipality, So, this is how you record. 30% sa principal, 70% doon kung saan located yung iyong factory or other plant or plantation. In case of a plantation located at a place other than the place where the factory is located, said 70%. So, naapod siya plantation, meron din siyang factory. Iba-iba yung kanyang location. So, yung 70%, we further divide it as follows. 60% to the city or municipality where the factory is located, and 40% to the city or municipality where the plantation is located. Okay, I hope that is clear. In cases where a manufacturer, assembler, producer, exporter, or contractor has two or more factories, project offices, plants located in different localities, the 70% sales allocation above shall be prorated among the localities in proportion to the respective volumes of production during... So ito, mas complicated pa. Yung sa letter C, isa lang ka factory, isa ka plantation located in different municipalities. Pero sa letter D, has kanyang daghana og plants, factories, na siya plant, factory, sobra duha. Okay, so, and located in different localities. So, the prorata, the prorata nato ani is that depende na on the volume of production, kung sa kadaghan ilang ma-produce. Okay? Uh, The foregoing sales allocation shall be applied irrespective of whether or not sales are made in the locality where the factory, project office, plant, or plantation is located. So, what is a principal office? It refers to the head or main office of the business appearing in the pertinent document submitted to the SEC or DTI. So, kung ano yung office na nilagay nyo sa Articles of Incorporation or sa inyong business permit or doon sa DTI certificate, so, yun ang principal office. So, branch office means a fixed place in a locality which conducts operations of the business as an extension of the principal office. Okay, I think that's very self-explanatory. Now, let's go directly to prescriptive periods. So, ilang years ba yung period natin to assess local taxes and fees? So, the law says it shall be assessed within 5 years from the date they became due. So, beyond that period, bawal na mag-action for collection. Okay? But in case of fraud, 5 years yung general rule. But if there's fraud or intent to evade the payment of taxes, fees, or charges, the same may be assessed within 10 years from the discovery of the fraud or intent to evade payment. Okay? And ano yung prescriptive period for collection? So sabi dyan, collections may be made within 5 years from the date of assessment. How? By administrative or judicial action. So pag na-expire yung 5 years, you can, or the LGU can no longer collect. When is the prescriptive period suspended? So under the following instances, number 1, the treasurer is legally prevented from making the assessment or collection. If there is a parang intervention or like my issue or my law that prevents from making assessment or collection, the taxpayer requests for a reinvestigation and executes a waiver in writing before expiration of the period within which to assess or collect. So, similar with national taxes, no? Kapag mag-request ka for investigation at mag-execute ka ng waiver, so ma-waive na yung prescriptive period, no? And the taxpayer is out of the country or otherwise cannot be located. So, these are the 3 instances, no, when prescriptive period can be suspended. Period to collect assessed tax, so within 5 years from the assessment, and no action for collection of the tax shall be instituted after the expiration of such period without such assessment having been made. So what are the remedies of the local government units for the collection of tax? So you have tax lien, local taxes, fees, charges, and other revenues constitute a lien superior to all liens, charges, or encumbrances in favor of any person enforceable by appropriate administrative or judicial action. not only upon any property or rights therein which may be subject to the lien, but also upon property used in business, occupation, practice of profession or calling, or exercise of privilege with respect to which the lien is imposed. Then, distraint and levy. By the administrative remedies of distraint of personal property of whatever kind, including securities and bank accounts, and levy of real property and interest therein. So you know already the difference between distraint and levy. Distraint is for personal properties, levy is for real properties. So ano bang ibig sabihin nito? Parang hanapin nila lahat ng properties mo, tapos i-take nila yan, ibenta, whatever, parang auction nila yan, ano yung proceeds, yun yung ibayad sa tax liability. Then, judicial action. So, the government may institute an ordinary civil action with the regular courts of proper jurisdiction for the collection of delinquent taxes, fees, charges, or revenues. How about the taxpayer? No? Meron din siyang remedy. Prior to assessment, the taxpayer can file an administrative appeal to the Secretary of Justice. And pwede din action for declaratory relief. Kana ganing the ordinance, upon the effectivity of the ordinance, so you can file a declaratory relief. After an assessment, you can file a protest of the assessment, or you can file an action for tax refund or tax credit. Kulang yan siya, class. And then, protest of assessment. How do you do protest? So kapag nakatanggap ka ng notice of assessment, the taxpayer has 60 days within which to file a written protest. Take note that the protest must be in writing. Hindi pwede oral lang. Okay? And then, after filing your protest, no, within 60 days, the local treasurer shall decide the protest within 60 days from the time of its filing. So the decision of the local treasurer is given within 60 days. So if the local treasurer finds the assessment to be wholly or partly correct, he shall deny the protest wholly or partly with notice to the taxpayer. Then the taxpayer shall have 30 days from receipt of the denial of the protest or from the lapse of the 60-day period prescribed herein within which to appeal with the court of competent jurisdiction. So otherwise, the assessment becomes conclusive and unappealable. Okay? So take note of the procedure, no, in filing a protest. Claim for refund. So, ano yung period natin for claiming? 2 years, no? 2 years lang po, no? From the date the taxpayer is entitled to refund or from the date of payment of such tax, no? Fee or charge. Pero meron tayong exception nito, class, ha? Sa claim for refund na hindi siya 2 years lang. The law says na in the case of Puyat and Sons Incorporated versus City of Manila, GR number L-17447, April 30, 1963. In case of solutio indebiti, if you raise solutio indebiti, no, in your claim for refund, the period daw is 6 years, hindi 2 years, okay? That is the exception to the rule. Now, ano yung share ng mga LGUs in the proceeds of national taxes? The legal basis here is Section 6, Article 10 of the 1987 Constitution, which commands the allocation to the LGUs of a just share in the national taxes. So, meron yung certain percentages, no? Ilan yung mapunta sa province, ilan yung mapunta sa cities, municipalities, or barangays, as the case may be. Okay? Section 6, local government units shall have a just share as determined by law in the national taxes which shall be automatically released to them. Okay? What the phrase national internal revenue taxes as used, no? In Section 284 included are all the taxes enumerated in Section 21 of the NIRC, no? So as amended by RA 8424, Section 21, Sources of Revenue. So ano ba yung mga taxes? When we say national internal revenue taxes, Ano ibig sabihin nun? What are the inclusions, no, na pwede tayong mag-share sa LGU? So, you have income tax, estate and donors taxes, VAT, other percentage taxes, excise taxes, doc stamp, and such other taxes as are or hereafter may be imposed and collected by the Bureau of Internal Revenue. Okay. Prior to the Mandanas ruling, no, that's a case, no, that changes, no, this coverage. Prior to the Mandanas ruling, yung hinahati lang ng mga local government units from the national government are those taxes collected by the Bureau of Internal Revenue. Hindi kasali yung taxes collected, duties and taxes collected by the Bureau of Customs. So, merong case na nangyari, may LGU na nagreklamo, bakit hindi kasali yung Bureau of Customs? So, in that case, in that case, the Supreme Court, no, declared, no, for the first time, sabi ng Supreme Court, that the term internal revenue taxes includes customs duties or those taxes or duties imposed by the Bureau of Customs. So lahat ng mga collection ng Bureau of Customs kasali na ngayon sa share na makuha. Mag-share na dyan yung mga local government units. That is based on the case of Mandanas versus Ochoa, GR number 199802, July 3, 2018. So a very recent case, no? That is why meron tayong devolution. O, gidevolve tungod pod ana because of that Mandanas ruling, may mga national services na devolved na to the local government units. Parang wala ring nangyari, no? So, parang sige, dahil sa inyo na yung share na ito sa customs, so mag-share din kayo sa national expenditures. So yung mga national government agencies na located sa mga local government units, so merong nag-share din yung LGU sa mga expenses nila. Merong appropriations yung mga LGUs, no, that would benefit the national government agencies located in their locality. So may mga ganun. Kasi because of the devolution. Okay? So that would be all, no, for my discussion regarding the common and specific taxing power of local government units.